Good morning. Today is July 13th, 2022. And this is the day when we are going to try our Japanese Kuri squash. We're going to cook it up and we're going to see what it's all about. We grew this in the garden. Never tasted one, never grown one, but here it is. Now the first thing I'm going to do, now this one's been in the refrigerator for a while, but first thing I'm going to do is feel this thing. Make sure there's no real soft spots on it. There's a spot, it's good, that's a little bit. We're going to feel it. And now this is right here, that's where the chickens pecked it, but that's not real soft. We'll know more when we cut it open, but I think this one's going to be good. Now, I want to tell you that this morning I was talking to a lady, and she told me that she was feeling sad. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to feel sad. Feel it real good. I'm feeling sad. Okay? I go back and feel my Kuri squash. Now I'm going to feel sad. Okay, I guess you get the message. You can't feel sad. Sad is not a solid, tangible object. Sad is a thought. However, we're taught to say we feel anxious, we feel sad, we feel lonely, whatever. We feel depressed. We feel happy. Alright, I feel sad. Let's feel that thing again. Alright? Don't be saying that you're going to feel something that's not an actual object. Sad, okay, listen to how I say sad is a feeling. No, it's not. Sad is a thought. So I want you to think about that a little bit, and this is the reason I'm telling you this, is I think I can help for you to understand something that's going to help you to get out of some of these not feelings, but these thoughts. Sadness, anxiety, and the big gorilla in the room, fear. I'm going to tell you, you may or may not have heard this, but what is the opposite of love? I used to say, I would have immediately said hate. No. The opposite of love is fear. And we'll talk about that some too. I learned that from Dr. James Dobson many years ago. The opposite of love is fear. Fear is also a thought. It's not a I'm going to feel fear, or I feel afraid. No, you can't feel fear. It's like trying to feel the air. Alright, we'll get back to you in a few minutes and we'll work on this squash a little bit. Out. Alright, here we are back again. I hope you've been thinking about that business of feeling sad, or feeling afraid, or feeling you cannot. Just think about that now. I want you to be able to change your thought process about what we can feel and what we can't feel. Alright, now I'm ready to try to cut this Japanese Kuri squash, and I'm going to try to cut it in half, and I'm going to try to cut it in a symmetrical You can see it's not any, it's fairly tough. Okay. I'm going to try to get this stem off, and I got it off. Okay. We're going to now, I'm going to scoop this innards out, seeds and all. And yes, I'm going to taste it. Well, pretty much tastes like any other squash insides to me, but we're going to scoop this out so that we can put some goodie in here. Don't know what the flesh of this squash tastes like, but it's something that was apparently highly prized in Japan. Okay, get out of there. Get out of there. There it comes. It finally yielded. I'm going to taste a little piece of this yellow flesh because I want to know what it tastes like. Got not much taste at all. My normal way of doing this, I'm going to put these guys in the, I'm going to say that much butter per, I'm going to divide that in half again. And I'm going to put this one there. I'm going to put this piece of butter in the other part. Okay. Gonna put, get my hands. Gonna put my salt. The old standby, cinnamon. And yes, I'm going to put a little stevia, 100% stevia, which is a substitute for sugar. This stuff does not raise your blood sugar like regular sugar. As far as I know, it is not harmful. I'm going to put this in the microwave. Knowing the size of this thing, I'm going to give it 3 minutes to start with, and we will check on it and we'll get back with you. Alright, this thing has had that first 3 minutes that I told you about. Now we're going to test it with a fork. Now, fork is not a really sharp object, and that's why I like to use a fork. It has to be done for a fork to go in it, a dull fork. If I was to use an ice pick or some kind of really sharp knife, it might go in there a lot easier and give us the idea it was done. This is not even close. I am feeling resistance here. Feeling, this got a long way to go. So we're going to put it back, and we're going to give it another 3 minutes. I'm guessing it's going to take 4 cycles of 3 to get this thing done. So we're on number 2 now. Okay, get back to you in a few minutes. Does my head get into there? Okay. Alright, I'm back again. I've put that squash for a couple of more 3-minute sessions. It's still getting softer all the time. And I told you about being afraid, and where's my paper, being sad and having fear. Now let me read you this business here out of the New Testament of John. It'd be 14:27, and its title is The Gift of Peace. And this is what Yeshua said: "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." Alright, Jesus has given us something very precious. He gave us His peace. And He says, not as the world gives do I give it to you. He's saying there's a difference between what He's giving and what the world gives. This has probably got multiple meanings, but one that stands out to me is that when the world gives you peace, and we're talking about the physical world, those things that you can feel with your hands, not the things that are of the Spirit. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Okay, so the world can give you something, let's say money, let's say a nice house or whatever. These things do not really give you peace. It's a false peace because they go away, and many times there's a lot more trouble that goes with it. So He says, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives do I give to you. So His peace is different than the physical sense of well-being that you have by getting material things. That's one way to interpret this, and I expect, like many other Bible verses, it has even deeper and more meaning. Then He says, let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Now He's given us something, and now He's saying that I think that because He gave us this, that we can be assured that our heart is not going to be troubled and our heart is not going to be afraid. Now, as I've been talking about, these things, peace, is not a physical thing. So your heart not being troubled, that's not like you need to go to the heart doctor. It's talking about your heart being how you are, I'm going to say feeling, but that's not, I already said that's not right. How your heart is, the state of your, He says neither let it be afraid. They're saying your heart is what is afraid, but of course it's your thoughts, it's your brain, but that's the way they've always explained it. Okay. So Jesus gave us His peace. We have it. But many times we don't know we have it because we're getting confused about what peace is. We think, as it was with that said, I feel peaceful. That means everything's going your way. But of course you can't feel peace because peace has no material being. Peace is a thought process. Okay, so we're going to understand that He gave it to us. He gave us this thought process. Peace. I can tell you right now, and He says it's not like the world. It's not the same kind of peace the world gives you. And I can tell you this, if Jesus gives you something, He's given it to you. He doesn't take things back. The problem is we don't understand what it means to be given peace. Okay. Be rest assured He gave it to us. That means we have it whether we take advantage of it or not. Now, how do you take advantage of it? First thing you got to realize is that peace is not a feeling, it's a thought process. Separate the thought process from the world. See? Not as the world. The world is physical. So the secret to it is this. You can change the thought process. So your thought process is afraid, okay? You're afraid and you want to have peace. So you change the way you think about it. You change the way that you think about it. Okay, one way to think about it, there's many ways, but you need to think on this. Everything that God is letting you go through is at His command, or He's allowing it because He's trying to help you to grow in the Spirit. Therefore, I have a saying, everything is as it should be. So you're not going to worry about it. Everything is as it should be. Now that's different than having a broken leg. That's a feeling. You got a broken leg, so it's going to have to heal. You can immediately turn a afraid thought into a peaceful thought by saying everything is as it should be. Or one of the more common ways of saying it is let go and let God. Let God do it His way. You're going to change this thought process to this one by saying everything is as God has made it happen. That's the answer right there. I kind of wish I had explained it in a better way, but hey, everything is as it should be. All right, going back to the squash. All right, we're back to the squash. I believe I did this 4 times. 3 minutes, so that's a total of 12 minutes. I like to do it in stages. See how soft that is? It just goes right through, and that'll tear right off of there. Now, we haven't ever tasted this, but we're fixing to. I'm going to get my camera lady to taste it. And we're just going to see what it's like. Just a little bit. I'm going to blow on it, get a little butter on it, so it won't be so hot. I'm going to put this in her mouth, and she's going to tell me what she thinks. But she's not going to tell me now because I'm going to try it. All right, words to describe that.
Melt in your mouth, delicious.
Okay, I was going to say, and I'm glad you said that, because I was going to use the word creamy, which would also indicate melt in your mouth or smooth.
Okay. I will take this half, and you can have that half.
All right. All right, so that's the Japanese Kuri squash, and that's my lesson on separating the thought process from the physical worldly process. And maybe, hopefully that will help you. That's and everything is as it should be. I'm pretty sure of that. I believe that. Okay, signing off.